Temperatures like that, 115 for that long of a period of time is just unbearable. It's really tough. And it's been tough for us here, not quite that intense, but it's still in the triple digits.
Yeah, and that stretch of weather we had last week, the hot weather that lasted through the holiday weekend, if that kind of wore you down and made you more sensitive to the heat, then this latest heat wave is just going to exacerbate those issues. And it's not done peaking just yet. That's going to happen tomorrow. So let's take a look at what you need to know as we head through our latest stretch of first alert weather days, continuing through the end of the work week. The excessive heat is going to peak tomorrow, and then it starts to back off a little bit. But temperatures tomorrow are going to be into the triple digits on a widespread basis once again. Not as hot beginning on Friday, but Friday's still going to be hot. We do return to near average temperatures as we head into the weekend, but some passing clouds with monsoonal moisture pretty far up in the atmosphere. No dry lightning threat around here, but looking at the potential for some of that in the Sierra, and the possibility of some smoke drifting up towards us from the south as well, mostly also in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This is a look right now. Let's check out our temperatures first, and then we'll check out the fog for tomorrow morning. We're talking about temperatures in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s. A nice 38-degree spread in our temperatures at the moment. Mid-60s in San Francisco, mid-70s for Oakland, upper 80s in San Jose. You were in the 90s and into the 90s in Santa Rosa and Concord, and 104 degrees in Livermore, and it's just going to be hotter tomorrow. Now, the fog is there. It is a very compressed marine layer because of the weight of the atmosphere on top of us, and that very shallow marine layer isn't going to have too much of a chance to kind of overcome the terrain barriers around the bay and spread far into the inland valleys. So mainly the fog is going to be poking through the Golden Gate and then confined to right along the coast, but it's not going to take very long for that fog to dissipate tomorrow, and our temperatures are going to warm up pretty quickly, except of course right along the coast. That's where you're still going to be in the 60s for those highs tomorrow. But we'll start off not too bad. Even spots that were hot today should retreat down into the 60s for overnight low temperatures by early Thursday morning. Where it wasn't hot today, temperatures are going to be in the 50s to begin the day on Thursday, and then we'll warm up. It's just a matter of how much. So let's take a look at tomorrow's forecast high temperatures, and they are going to be hottest inland. We're going to see those highs reaching up to over 100 degrees on a widespread basis. Not quite there in San Jose, 97 degrees there, but over 100 in Los Gatos and Morgan Hill. 108 degrees in Livermore. Temperatures are going to be above 105 for most inland communities in the East Bay. Well, temperatures bayside are going to be pretty hot. 93 degrees in Fremont, 95 down the peninsula in Redwood City, but only 65 degrees along the coast at Redwood City. 75 in San Francisco is almost 10 degrees above normal. 85 degrees in Oakland, with temperatures in the North Bay well into the 90s, if not over 100 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. The heat risk is going to remain, of course, elevated for as long as this heat is in place. Let's take a look at that heat risk map for tomorrow, which shows widespread high heat risk inland. That's the second highest category. We add a little bit of purple to the map, but it's not going to be extreme heat risk outbreak across the entire region. A little more of that showing up in some of the higher elevations Friday, but watch what happens from Friday to Saturday. The yellow, the low heat risk, spreads much farther across the bay and will be almost erasing that high heat risk from the map entirely as we head into Saturday. And you can see the 10-day temperature trend for Livermore going down the roller coaster and then kind of settling into a fairly tranquil pattern next week. Hot, but appropriately hot for mid-July, with those high temperatures kind of hovering right around 90 degrees. Let's check out the 7-day forecast. We'll start inland with the extremes, which will become less extreme as we do head into the weekend. There'll be a few hot spots Saturday, but everybody's back to normal by Sunday, and that continues not only the first half of next week, but likely all of next week and maybe even the following weekend. That's still speculative at this point. Temperatures around the bay, another day in the 80s, then you're back to the 70s, and then back to normal already for the weekend, with our back and forth fog pattern in place as we head into the weekend and along the coast. Soak up that sunshine tomorrow. Cool sunshine tomorrow and even on Friday, and then you're back into quite a bit of cloud cover, especially Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and again on Wednesday, and likely for most of next week. There's a reason that we go from June gloom to no sky July to eventually August. Things don't change a whole lot till we get to September.
All right, thanks, Paul.